Hi, it's Doreca. Welcome to my channel again. This video it's going to be a follow-up on the last episode I did on entrepreneur identity. And the series have come about sort of by accident because I was exploring my identity versus what I perceive other entrepreneurs' journey to look like. And I just stumbled upon this idea of like how unique and distinctive we can be from the collective identity of entrepreneurs as a whole, and how that affect different areas. So last episode 1 of this series, I just looked into the idea of how unique are you, and do you actually loathe or actually celebrate your uniqueness? Because if you haven't had a chance yet, go and I'll try and link somewhere. I think it'll be somewhere here or somewhere here. I'll link that video so you can take a look at that if you haven't already. And today I wanted to reflect a little bit on something that happened to me earlier in the year, because I had a really kind of full-on year last year, just personal stuff. I had been going through a separation and going through a divorce, and then my children and I were moving house, so it was just a lot of changes in 1 year, and the business kind of took a really slow turn because I was just focusing on just being safe and being well and just moving on with life, and I just burnt out. I just got to a place where I just couldn't pour anymore. I felt zero inspiration in terms of what direction I wanted to take things. I started to really take stock a lot on how much I can pour into this and still be sane, if that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure if you have run businesses and you're watching this channel, then this will probably resonate with you. So I wanted to really focus on the idea of us entrepreneurs being distinctive from each other, and really just as a collective feel a sense of belonging, but also being distinct as a collective. Because when I think about entrepreneurs and our drive is really to solve a problem, usually starts with our own problems. We solve our own problems, then we have this intrinsic kind of push, sort of intrinsic kind of drive to solve problem for others. Then my question today, I think I'm asking myself, and I'm kind of putting out there, because I like to learn what you as an entrepreneur face. Because do we as entrepreneurs, as a collective people, being similar in some ways, do we experience these things the same, and do we respond to them in the same way? For me personally, I did find a lot of tools out there at the time when I was kind of feeling I was strapped for time. I couldn't, I was struggling to make everything fit in. It was more of time management. You just now managing your time well. That's one thread of thought. So time management makes sense, I feel, for a lot of people. And I think it really depends on where you want to go. So the first point I'll point out when it comes to this distinction of making, do we really all respond in the same way? I think we respond differently based off of where are we going, where is our destination. So for me, my destination or my drive or the purpose of where I'm seeing myself going is, I want to have a business that allows me to have a life that I want, right? So I want to solve problems for others, and in the process solve the problem for myself. And the problem for myself was to give myself time with my family. So if it's just a issue of how many stuff can I stuff in my 24 hours, it doesn't give me the quality of life that I actually want. So the time management, quote unquote, tools are helpful and I use them, but it wasn't what I was looking for. It just didn't fit for me personally when I experienced burnt out and I was feeling really overwhelmed. what worked for me personally, and I think I've seen this work for others, is I had to take stock on to what is really important. What's my overall aim? And my overall aim was to develop a business that mirrors my values. And so I chose to strip back. I chose to not be on every social media platform. I actually, on purpose, these are things maybe you can do too, and I've seen others do that have worked really well for them. I unsubscribed to a lot of mail list things that I used to read a lot. I unsubscribed to a lot of that so that I wouldn't get information overload. So I wouldn't be trying to process so much information in any given day to begin with. So I stripped that back. Things that I subscribe to on YouTube, for example, because I learn a lot off of YouTube. And I took notifications off a lot of people that I was following, so that I would only seek them out when I was actually intentionally looking to learn something specific. Other than the notification coming up, then I feel the need to perhaps go and listen at that time, because I felt like that was also just adding into the information overload, and it was actually just taking time off of my day. And even though there were times I could use the watch later kind of option, I still felt like I had this, like, so many videos I wanted to watch later that I wasn't going to get to watch later. So the simple thing was just to strip that back. I did unsubscribe to channels that no longer aligned with what I was learning at that time, that didn't feel like it aligned to who I was anymore. I unsubscribed to those. And I chose to also not be on every post anymore, to every platform. And I just chose to focus on one or two. And that alone just took that feeling of feeling overwhelmed off of me. And straight away I felt relief. So I know another kind of school of thought would have been, designate that to somebody else. Get a VA, somebody who would do that work for you. And that also works for a lot of people. So that's another option if you are different to that person, depending on where you're going. If you wanted to grow on every platform, let's say, because that's your goal for your business, that would probably be a better option. For me, I personally advocate for and embrace a slower pace in life, slow living lifestyle, because I want to experience fullness of it, and I want it to develop my business as a lifestyle business rather than a business where I would employ a lot of people and managing people. That's not my goal personally. So when I think about our identity and how we respond to these different things, it made me think about how one way or the other isn't right or wrong, but it's more about where are you going and what will make sense for you. And that will pretty much dictate what you do. And that's what I found for me. I had to really dig deep and decide, is this something that would make sense long term for me? So if you're feeling strapped for time, you don't have a lot of time to manage things, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed or burnt out, I want to encourage you to think about your strategies in line with where you want to go. So don't just straight away think, I just want to strip back, or don't straight away think, I want to just delegate this to somebody else, if those options don't align with your long-term goal, if those things don't align with your values for your life and your business. I think that's what I was contemplating on this week as I was thinking about that point in my life earlier this year and how that helped me. So just to encourage you to think about these things, because sometimes we can be watching somebody else's story and we can be so encouraged about the strategy they give, and I'm very kind of mindful of that here, that when I give like a pointer to say this might be a strategy that might work for you, I want to highlight the context within that. because I think it's guided by context. It's not by itself just a strategy that can apply and make sense in any situation if the context is different. So I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted that, and I wanted to encourage you to just be mindful of that in your own life. So that's all I have for today. I just want to encourage you to just go and embrace what today has for you, and remember to focus on the being than the doing. And have a wonderful day. Bye bye.